Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. The sights, the sounds, the exhilaration of a 185-mile-an-hour festival of speed. It was not great art, but Sebastian Bourdais did feel the spray of champagne in Surfer's Paradise, celebrating his third straight Champ Car title. He surely had time now to reflect on that extraordinary achievement. After all, it had been since 1948 when Ted Horn won his third straight crown that anyone had been able to hoist the Vanderbilt Cup 3 years in a row. Now, 58 years later, the young Frenchman who's dominated the past 3 seasons can lift that cup in both celebration and surely relief. His tribute well earned and most deserving. And we welcome you live to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City, Mexico for the season finale. The 14th race of 2006, and Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. Today, the Champ Car Grand Prix of Mexico City. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. Great to have you with us here. It's been a wet weekend on and off, but it looks as though race time will see dry and warm conditions. Well, the championship's no longer in doubt. The race win is at stake. Also at stake today, the Roche France Rookie of the Year title. We've had a big group of first-year drivers. Now the battle for Rookie of the Year down to these two. Will Power from Australia, who was on the pole at Surfer's Paradise, looked as though he might win there. Dan Clark was on the pole at Road America. He's been on the podium a couple of times, and they will start nose to tail today as we show you the championship standings in the Rookie of the Year category. Brought to you by Roche France. 15 points is the margin. Speaking of new drivers, Derek, the other big story here this weekend involves Forsyth Championship Racing and new faces.
One of Champ Car's biggest teams lost both of their drivers. Champ Car's biggest star, Paul Tracy, is out. He had a serious accident on an ATV in Las Vegas, and from a team that was so successful that looked like this, suddenly AJ Allmendinger decides he wants to earn a living somewhere else, and now we have two rookies, Martinez and Buddy Rice. What a learning curve it is for them, but what a team for two rookies to basically get into in their first race.
Certainly a couple of drivers we'll be paying close attention to today, but that battle for Roche France Rookie of the Year honors involves a couple of drivers we've gotten to know through the entire season. Let's get more downstairs to Jan Beekes.
And of course, Rick, Will Power leads that battle at the moment, but most importantly starts fourth today after an awesome performance in Australia. Pole position, you led 13 laps. So, are you thinking about winning here or winning the Rookie Championship?
To be honest, I'm thinking about winning the Rookie Championship now. It's, you know, I mean, the first corner is always a bit of mayhem here because everyone sort of starts together. There's, you know, there's a fast corner leading on the straight, so we're all there and close together. So I'm just going to do what, I mean, you don't know what's going to happen in the first corner. Get through that, and then we're just going to do a normal race.
Have a great run. And starting right behind him, his closest challenger, of course, he's with Cameron Steele.
Well, I'm here with Speedy Dan Clark. He has a pole and a podium on the season, and you're in there for the Rookie of the Year honors, but are you concentrating on that, or is it just all about winning the race here today in Mexico City?
The points is, it's going to be really difficult to win it today. But, you know, stranger things have happened, but as far as my approach goes, I'm qualified P6 yesterday after we struggled earlier this weekend. You know, we really pulled that lap out of nowhere, but we were putting the laps in, testing, in practice. We tried like 6 different things, and we came up with something in qualifying, and hopefully we've got something for the race as well. So I'm going to be looking for the leader and to pass him, and that's what I'm thinking about.
We know that's Dan Clark style. Go for it at all times.
Well, Dan Clark has got a terrific elbows-up aggressive style. He's one of the drivers who's made this such an entertaining Champ Car World Series season in '06. Back to Mexico City, as always, a packed house on hand. Cars coming out on the grid for the Champ Car Grand Prix of Mexico City. Final race of the championship trail this year. 7th time the series has been here at this facility. Now, 1 year ago, Justin Wilson, who's 3rd currently in the championship. CDW's Wilson claimed his 2nd career Champ Car win. He led teammate AJ Allmendinger over the finish line. Paul Tracy ran 3rd. Wilson would dearly love to back up that win with another one here today. This weekend's been a lot different. Of course, the injury at Surfers Paradise. Justin's been icing that right wrist. He's wearing that specially designed carbon fiber brace. He was able to overcome all that adversity and lay down a very fast lap on Saturday, a new track record, and it was good enough for the Bridgestone Pole Award here this weekend. So Wilson will start on the front row alongside Sebastian Bourdais. He's with Cameron Steele.
Well, you can see right now they're taping up Justin Wilson. No question that he has the skill. 2 poles, 2 years in a row. He won the race last year. Justin, the big question mark is the broken wrist wearing the brace. Is fatigue going to be a major issue?
I don't know yet. Unfortunately, warm-up was wet, so we don't really know how the car feels on high fuel load, but let's give it our best shot. We'll go after the win if we can. If we get to a point where I can't stay ahead, I'll settle for trying to finish second in the championship.
There you go, going for the championship, second place, but we know he wants to win. We'll see how the wrist holds up.
One of the battles in the Champ Car World Series is for the Nations Cup. France has clinched that cup on the strength of the championship season by Sebastian Bourdais and the strong points performance of young Nelson Philippe, who won his first career race a couple of weeks ago. England, with Justin Wilson heading their contingent, will be second. Let's take you back to Surfers Paradise now to show you what happened as Nelson Philippe scored that surprising victory. Aussie Will Power on the pole in front of the home fans. Bourdais lined up second in front of the Forsyth cars. A.J. Allmendinger's championship hopes ended here with an error on pit road. They left part of the fueling rig stuck in the 7 car. Everyone okay on pit road. Allmendinger got back into the event, but his day would come to an early end with an error here. He put the 7 car into the wall, ending his Champ Car career, at least for now. Bourdais and Power got together in this incident, going down into one of the left-handers, and that opened the door for Philippe, who played beautiful fuel strategy and a great late race pass of Oriol Servia to score that victory. Philippe, at age 20, the youngest Champ Car winner in series history. Like many in the Champ Car community, Philippe gives back, and as such, he continued his backing of orphan kids here in Mexico.
Hey, it's every time we go to a new racetrack or a new country, it's always very important for me to give to the people and to relate with them. So today we're going to go to the orphanage in Adulam in Mexico City and give away some tickets to the kids. So here we go. These kids, they're amazing. I mean, the fact that they can have a new outlook on life, and it's so inspiring. It makes you want to be a better person, and I'm so thankful that I can be here today. And if I can, just bring them just a little smile on their face, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. That's definitely a great quote. It means change your way of thinking, and it will change your life. So I think that's what these kids are taught every day, and they've turned it around.
Despite all the hardships, the children at the refuge were happy to give Nelson their blessing.
It's very humbling. It makes you really appreciate what you have, and it's a very good thing. And look how cute she is. I mean, it's so awesome.
Well, that awesome string continued this weekend as Philippe and his teammate Dan Clark hosted several kids from the orphanage here at the Speedway. The kids got a tour of pit road, some signed hero cards, and a chance to experience the Champ Car World Series up close and personal. Well, it's that time of the year again, getting down to the end of the 06 racing season. Lots of announcements being made as series prepare for the upcoming 07 campaign. One came at the SEMA convention a couple of days ago in Las Vegas. And a couple of those announcements by Champ Car are this week's Mazda Power Play. Cooper Tire officials were on hand to confirm that their tires will now be the tires of choice in the Champ Car Atlantic Championship. Champ Car President Steve Johnson on hand to unveil the new series logo as Cooper Tires presents the Champ Car Atlantic Championship, powered by Mazda. Champion Simone Pagenaud was on hand for the occasion as well. The new Cooper Atlantic tire makes its debut in the spring of 2007. Roll off here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, getting set for the final round of the Champ Car World Series season. It's been a great season indeed for many of these drivers and teams, and it should be an epic battle here today. We'll be right back. And we welcome you back live to Mexico City, Mexico. Coverage of Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. Tonight, the Speed Report. More than the highlights and the stats, the whys, the wherefores. Join us for the Speed Report at 8 Eastern and Pacific tonight, only here on Speed. A lot of things to wrap up before we close the 2006 Champ Car World Series campaign. One of those, the grand prize winner of the 2006 Champ Car Live Fast Sweepstakes, presented by Bridgestone. Don Imicus and his wife of Waukesha, Wisconsin, joining us here this weekend. Joe Barbieri of Bridgestone presenting the keys to their brand new Ford Mustang GT. Don, our watch and win winner this season. They also receive a set of Bridgestone Potenza pole position tires, an Auto Week subscription, and they've been our guests here all weekend long. Don and his wife, wonderful folks. We've had a chance to visit with them a couple of times. Champ Car thanks all of its fans for participating in the Live Fast sweepstakes presented by Bridgestone. Field on the pace laps now. The Bridgestone Pole Award here this weekend to Justin Wilson, his second Bridgestone Pole Award of 2006. He's the only driver other than Sebastian Bourdais to score multiple Bridgestone Pole Awards. Bourdais had 7 of them and locked up the season-long honors a long time ago. Dominguez, Junqueira, AJ Allmendinger, Dan Clark, and Will Power scored single pole positions this year. Time for our starting lineup. Powered by Ford, Wilson's on the pole in the CDW 9 car, and the champion, Sebastian Bourdais, on the McDonald's car number 1. Second row, the 2 car for Bruno Junqueira, the hole-in-the-wall Kemp's machine, and the Aussie Vineyards 5 of rookie leader Will Power. Third row looks like this as we get set to go racing today here in Mexico City. Ryan Briscoe will start in the number 5 position. He is racing out of Indianapolis now for Rousport. And that is obviously not Sebastian Bourdais. And the car alongside will be Dan Clark in the CTE HVM machine. Fourth row, Oriol Servia and Alex Tagliani. David Martinez in one of the Forsyth cars. And Nelson Philippe starts 10th. He's got a long way to go in that CTE HVM 4 car. Mario Dominguez starts in the 6th row. In the Pemex car number 8 for the Rocket Sports team, Charles Wolfsman from the Netherlands in the MyJack Conquest car number 34. The 7th row, Catherine Legg from Great Britain in the Bell Micro 20 for the PKV team. Buddy Rice, the 9th, the 04 Indy winner out of Phoenix in the Index Forsyth car number 7. He'll start 14th. The 8th row is Antonio Pizzonia, the Lexington Energy 18, Andrew Ranger in the Walmart 27. Final row, the 2 Dale Coyne cars, Jan Halen in the Muirman's machine, and Andreas Worth in the Sonny's Barbecue entry. All right, let's have a look at our onboard cameras. We have a pace car camera this weekend for the first time. Gail Truist driving the Champ Car World Series safety car for us here today. And 3 onboard looks from 3 of our competitors. Mario Dominguez in the Pemex machine. Connor Brady's got a lot of pressure on him this weekend in front of his home country fans. He starts 11th there. And we will also take a ride today with Justin Wilson in the CDW machine. That's car number 9. He is on the pole here for the 2nd consecutive season. And we'll have onboard looks from Andrew Ranger's Walmart MyJack car. That's the 27. Andrew starts 16th. Didn't qualify well, but he's proven himself very adept at coming up from the back of the pack, gaining a lot of positions. Let's have a look at this racetrack, Derek Daly.
Bit of a throwback to the old days. It's long and it's fast, and it's also changed for this year because left side of your screen, 14, 15, 16, now changed from the baseball stadium to a first gear chicane. They are almost 200 miles an hour down this long front straight.
Well, it's turned out to be a sunny day, and the temperature is on the rise. 72 a few moments ago. I think we're headed into the mid-80s. A slight chance of rain, just a little bit of wind, and not very humid. The altitude is really the issue here. Here's the race distance, 66 laps, 185 miles. Derek, 2 stops. And the first pit window comes up at lap 18. Second one begins at about lap 40. And we'll show you Derek's daily a little bit later on. Some key points we will look for. This is the Perotada. It'll be a much faster entry to the front straightaway. Ready to go green here in Mexico City.
Green, 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 green.
Oh, trouble on the front stretch. Big wreck involving Catherine Legg. She's gotten into the wall at the start here. There is shrapnel up and down the racetrack, and Catherine Legg in trouble. One of the Great Britain rookies.
Right there.
Yeah, copy.
Catherine answering on the radio, and we will go caution, the full course yellow. We did not get to turn 1 of the season finale. Contact coming down the front stretch. Derek, you and I had talked earlier about how as the cars came to that new bus stop chicane on the backside, we might see some problems. We didn't even get over the starting line this time.
Well, so many of the drivers were concerned because the speed is so high at the end of this straight. It's almost 200 miles an hour if you have the power to pass on. They were concerned of the brake zone, but I don't think I don't think we were even past the start-finish line when the incident started with Catherine Legg looking at the skid marks.
One more look
have a look here. Catherine's in the middle. Oh, Catherine she begins to move to the right side. Right side. Watch left side of your screen. Oh, look. Is this one of the... oh, I know exactly what happened. Catherine Legg
was moving over to the right side. Somebody was already there. Hard to see who that somebody was. Already there. Then they touched. And you can see how hard it is.
Might have been Mario Dominguez. It was Dominguez's car there. You see the Pemex car number 8. We've got onboard looks as we have a look back here from Justin Wilson's vantage point.
So how did Dominguez get back there? Because Dominguez was 11th on the grid. Catherine was 13th.
They were nose to tail.
Board. Here's on board. Right side. Oh, Dominguez taps Catherine. She begins to move over. He's already there. He can't get out of the way. She moves over. The wheels get interlocked. And Briscoe is in trouble also. Briscoe somehow gets a flat tire. Don't know how that happened. He was 5th on the grid. Left rear, it looks like, on Briscoe. There's Catherine going to get a pole. Okay, here comes Dominguez. Look at the left side suspension. Left front suspension bent where he made contact with Catherine Legge. There she is getting started. How disappointing that is. Catherine had a good qualifying session here.
One more look at what happened to her at Road America back in September, Derek.
Horrific rear wing brakes right about here. 165 miles an hour, loses control, smashes backwards into the guardrail, destroys the car, engine and gearbox breaks off. Unbelievably, she walked out.
This incident, nothing near as devastating as that wreck was. Catherine Legge, a very tough young woman, and she has proven herself very capable this year. Jan Beekhuis, what did you see on Ryan Briscoe's machine?
They checked the car over carefully, and as we suspected, it was a tire that had gone down. And while he was on pit road, they checked over the suspension on all 4 corners. As you probably saw, the tire was shredded, but it does appear as though no other suspension damage. It looks like that kind of shred you have, Derek, when a front wing touches a rear tire, and so therefore he should be okay, but now lost track position.
Even though it was under yellow, maybe he did have contact, but Mario Dominguez, he looks in deep trouble here. Heavily backed, as you can see, by Pemex. Cameron?
Well, they're reporting a damaged toe link on the left front of Mario Dominguez's number 8 Pemex car, and they're going to work on it right now. The crew is all trying to figure out exactly what is wrong, still looking it over, and we'll get back with you to report immediately after we find out all the information.
Can they get him out before he loses a lap? Is it possible? This is a long course here. Is it possible to get this car driving before he loses a lap, bring him back to the pits? Oh, when you change the steering like that,
it does take time. Dominguez here with that Mexican corporate backing now that's seen him through the last few races, and I know he's hoping that that will continue. Catherine Legge's car able to be bump started. They took the front piece, the nose wing, the nose cone and wings right off the 20 car, so she may be okay. They may put a new piece on that, and Jan, they may be able to return her to the race.
Don't think so.
Well, there's a lot of damage certainly for the nose itself, but it looks, Derek, as though it is forward of where it would be replaced. There's a couple of bulkheads that they have on this that would protect the driver's feet. Also checking very carefully, I'm looking over the crew's shoulders, and at the moment all the attention appears to be paid just to the nose cone itself. And again, it is completely broken off at the front, but forward of where they can replace it. So there is a shot here, and with a long lap, there's a chance they could get that nose cone on and get her back in the back of the order.
She has missed 1 lap at this point. They did not score Catherine Legge for the first lap because she got into the wall before taking the green flag.
Hang on, guys. If we can launch her, we can keep her lap back. Launch her if we can. Launch her if we can. Launch her if we can. Too late.
Launch her. That's Tom Brown on the radio. Launch her if we can. Get her out ahead of the pace car.
But
there is the pace car. She didn't.
Derek, what they were doing is they reached inside the footwell to be sure there was no shrapnel in there. They did not want to send her out with something near the pedals, because if he had a piece of carbon fiber or something in the footwell, that would be extremely dangerous, and I didn't think they could beat the pace car, so she has lost the time.
And everybody comes down the pit lane because the crew, the Champ Car safety team, are still out on the front straight here, just blowing off with the jet dryers the debris that was left from Catherine's impact against the wall. How disappointing that has to be. Can't really blame anybody for that one.
A lot of drivers with a lot to prove. Many drivers auditioning for 2007. Mario Dominguez wants to have a good run today in front of his countrymen. We'll be back in Mexico City. Welcome back in Mexico City. 3 laps under full course yellow. As they came to the green flag, Mario Dominguez, Catherine Legge got together. Both cars heavily damaged. The annual Greg Moore Legacy Award is one way that Champ Car pays homage to its past, honoring the well-known Canadian star tragically killed in 1999 at Fontana. The award honors the driver who most typifies Greg Moore's distinct combination of on-track talent and personality. Our nominees this year include Alex Tagliani and Justin Wilson, 20-year-old Nelson Philippe, and James Hinchcliffe. Fans can participate in the voting. Go to champcar.ws. Jan?
And we just saw Catherine Legge on pit road. Now her teammate, Oriol Servia, gets a new nose cone. They noticed that there was damage on the front wing. There's a pit board. If we can swing over here, I'll show you. Over here, Rick, on the side, on top of these tires, we have the front wing area. Well, I'll just tell you guys that there was a big tire mark on the front wing. The pit crewman spotted it, and it was something that Oriol Servia did not feel, but the pit board person saw. They called him in just in case.
So Servia makes a stop under full course yellow and comes back onto the racetrack, right now being shown 16th. So he gives up a lot of track position, but safety is key, certainly for the Champ Car World Series drivers. A lot of drivers with a lot to prove, I think, in this final race of 2006. Justin Wilson certainly wants to show he can fight through an injury. One driver who needs a victory, Bruno Junqueira, bouncing back from that 05 injury. We talked to him about that situation.
For sure, I want to do a good result and finish well in the championship. But I hope I can get my first win this year. Every year in the Champ Cars I want to race, and I hope I can get a win this year as well.
Bruno Junqueira, who's had success here at Mexico City in the past, and he originally on the grid was 3rd. Right now, he'll restart in that same position as the top cars got away clean before the incident involving Dominguez and Legge.
6 years in Champ Car racing, Bruno won every year. 2nd in the championship 3 times in a row. Cameron?
Well, I just want to let you guys know while we had a break, I spoke with Justin Wilson just before he got in the car, and I asked him, have you ever driven with a broken arm or any other damage like that before? And he said, you know, I actually drove with a broken wrist and a broken ankle at my first ever car race. He injured about 3 weeks before the race, and he carried on, got in the car, and finished top 3. He got a podium in his first ever car race. Says, I hope I can do that well today.
It's been easy for him so far. We haven't put any strain on him. He's done 4 laps.
Yep, he's been able to be on the cruise control other than coming to the green flag. And we prepare for what appears to be one more lap of caution. Looked as though they were going to get the green. Instead, it'll be 1 lap till the restart. Mario Dominguez still on pit road. Justin Wilson will be the restart pole sitter. Bourdais will line up 2nd in front of Junqueira. And the Team Australia cars are next in line. The Rocket Sports team still hard at work in Mexico City. Back in Mexico City, and the green flag reappears as we complete 4 laps, and now lap number 5 goes on the board. Wilson headed to turn 1. Bourdais is going to try him on the inside.
Believe it or not, this is almost 200 miles an hour in full trim, and Bourdais just spectacular down the inside.
Wilson tried to come right back at him. He clipped the curb, Derek, on that brief jog left and then right. On the CDW9 car, Sebastian Bourdais has won 6 races so far. He's clinched his 3rd straight title, and he gobbled up Wilson in 1 like there was no problem at all.
Mad at me for blaming him for the Surfers Paradise incident. Said they went back with engineer Craig Hampson, looked at it, realized that the bump he hit the skid blocks on that tub harder than they've ever seen the whole weekend, which lightened the front wheel, the outside wheel, locked it up, and that caused him to go straight on. So with that information, if I was incorrect, I apologize, but this is a race here now. Can Justin Wilson, the one-handed wonder, you will see from the onboard cameras how he relaxes the right hand as much as he can.
Bourdais, Wilson, Bruno Junqueira, your top 3. And this is the bus stop chicane at the end of the backstretch, leading to that Peraltada curve.
And that's where Wilson hurt the wrist on Friday. A big jolt when he hit the curb. Pain shot right up through his arm. He had tried running without the brace because it was somewhat restrictive. But Bourdais, who was not happy with the car this morning in the warm-up, he was 2nd quickest, just running away here.
Well, Sebastian Bourdais and Justin Wilson have certainly built a good rivalry these past couple of Champ Car World Series seasons. We talked to Bourdais earlier about Wilson's situation.
I don't know. I think obviously it's going to be hard. Apparently his left arm cramps up after a few laps because he's got to control most of the steering with his left arm. So it's going to be a tough race for him. But I just wish we could race fair and square. And in the meantime, he's got a little bit of pressure because he still needs to finish. So it's a little bit the situation we're in, in surface. It's just never really enjoyable because you'd like to be able to go out there and try and win the race. But the most important thing is to finish. So we'll see how it comes out.
Well, Sébastien Bourdais wants to finish first, and he wants to finish the event, obviously, and he has charged to the lead here. He got the drop on Wilson on the restart. Now, Dan Clark, who's second in the Roche-France Rookie of the Year battle, made an early unscheduled stop. Clark had lined up right behind Will Power. Power runs fourth. Clark came up a spot in the top 6 to come to pit road. So we'll get an update on what had happened to the CTE HVM 14 car. Dan Clark, who was the fast qualifier at Road America and has improved dramatically in the second half of this season.
Right there, coming out onto the front straights, almost 150 miles an hour, coming off that famous Perros Tada corner. We're using 6-speed gearboxes. Craig Hampson, engineer for Sébastien Bourdais, said it's not even enough because the highest speeds of the year are attained here and the slowest speeds of the year here, with the first gear hairpin been down at almost 30 miles an hour.
Now, some teams were looking for an even lower first gear to put in their gearbox. The speeds are so slow at that chicane that was just added to make sure that the cars didn't have too much entry speed heading into that big 180-degree right-hand curve that takes you around the baseball stadium here.
Don't know yet whether Wilson is pacing himself. Mario Dominguez is back. Good to see him. They replaced the steering and the top wishbone on Mario's car. So having had such a spectacular run in Australia in front of his hometown crowd here, such a shame to see that incident with Catherine Legge right about here on the opening lap.
Okay, Mario, you've got quite a bit of space. How does it feel? Okay, let's just settle down, get into a rhythm and go for a run.
Dominguez lost 4 laps on pit road during the repairs after that wreck on the start that involved him and Catherine Legge.
And that was Phil Howard on the radio, team manager, concerned for his driver. They rebuilt it. Martinez, the second Mexican, in a fight here in the second of Jerry Forsyth's car, trying to catch Nelson Philippe.
Well, Speedy Dan Clark, Philippe's teammate, back on pit road. Second stop, Cameron.
Well, I was just talking to Keith Wiggins. He says they have an engine problem. They're not sure what's going on. He said he was going to come back in, which now we can see he is. Just not able to figure out what it is. That's the biggest problem for the team right now. They're not sure what's wrong with the car.
Change down, it's like there's no throttle and there's a rear brake. And it just wants to go and lock up the rear for me, only when I change down.
Clark on the radio talking to his team about what the problem is.
All right, Marty, take a look at your
Roche-Fans Rookie of the Year championship begins to slip away and move towards Will Power.
Power in fourth. Clark losing laps. He's already 1 lap down. And in these cars, Derek, in this series, it's very hard to make up a lap on the racetrack.
Against the front runners here, it's almost impossible. Sometimes under yellow, you can make up big gobs of time, but not when they run green like this. But Martinez, second car here, the blue car, the second of the Forsyth cars. They were going to run 3 cars initially until Paul Tracy had his injury. But Martinez speaks remarkably good English, and he had 1 day's testing in this car. I think he's done a great job this weekend.
Team very impressed with Martinez, who of course was a standout in the Champ Car Atlantic Championship this past season for U.S. Racetronics.
There's that first gear hairpin. Buddy Rice, his teammate, is about 4 positions behind him. That is Briscoe making his way from the back of the field in the yellow number 10 car right there. Jan?
Down here with Roost Sport President Jeremy Dale. Jeremy, is Justin just pacing himself right now?
Yeah, Jan, you know, the restarts are tough here. They've got such a long straightaway, and Sébastien got a good restart. He got a tow. And so, you know, we lost the lead, but it's very much a pacing situation. Watch the fuel. We're fine. Everything's good.
Has he said anything about the wrist?
No, he's fine. I mean, as you know, you've watched him all weekend. He's done just an exceptional job, and we're so proud of him. And I just can't say enough about Justin Wilson.
Well, he's still got a lot of laps to go. Thank you, Jeremy.
Thanks.
Wilson about 1.5 seconds behind Bourdais after giving up the lead on that restart as the field powered into turn 1. And I think the real issue for Wilson this weekend, Derek, is can he finish 7th or better and earn 2nd in the championship? Here's another look at the pass by Bourdais.
Down the inside, he was in the slipstream. Once you get inside on the brakes on Wilson, he's so experienced, there's no way he's going to fight for the line at that speed and have the potential to take both of them out of the race. On board with Andrew Ranger. Pizzonia right ahead of him has come up to position 8 because he started pretty far back in 15th place in Paul Gentilosi's Lexington-sponsored car.
Watching Ranger now in the bus stop. They pack him up. That's Briscoe right up behind the car. Buddy Rice. Rice driving that 7 car. That's the car that A.J. Allmendinger took to 5 wins for the Forsythe team this season. And currently 2nd in points. He's not here this weekend. And Pizzonia did a great job on that wreck situation, picking his way through the traffic to gain ground.
He did. Look at Briscoe right behind Rice. Briscoe left side of your screen, yellow, white car. Gonna make it, gonna have a stab anyway. Buddy Rice's issue this weekend has been the brakes. Has not been able to get used to these brakes and really jump on them and use them as hard as other drivers who have driven Champ Cars all year are. But Briscoe having a great run, Jan.
He is having a good run, and a follow-up on the flat tire situation at the start of the race. He did not have contact with anyone, just caught some of that debris you saw flying through the air, so they know the car is not damaged. Now it's just trying to get that track position back.
Briscoe 11th in his series debut in Australia a couple of weeks ago for the Rousport team. And he's one of the drivers really auditioning for a job for 2007.
And so hopeful. In fact, even talked after qualifying yesterday that he believed he had a car that could put him on the podium. No better way to make a statement than being on the podium. So unfortunate that he gathers up a piece of that debris in that first lap crash. Good fight here, though. Pizzonia is in a real fight here with Ranger.
Andrew Ranger, we've talked about how good he is at moving through the field. Started 16th here this weekend alongside Pizzonia, and it looks as though Pizzonia is holding up this group of cars as they exit the bus stop and head to the Peraltada on board with Ranger.
And the difficulty is this Peraltada, because it's 180 degrees, you have to have a well-balanced car to stay close enough to the car ahead to be able to take advantage of a draft down this long straight, and Briscoe has it. Briscoe has the draft.
Ryan Briscoe swings to the inside of the Walmart car. Down into 1.
Right side.
Forced Ranger to lock him up, didn't he?
Yes, right side. If Ranger's not careful, he could flat spot that right front tire. Then you get a vibration, which forces you to get into the pits. But Buddy Rice now sees what he just did. He's going to try and do the same thing, maybe.
Ryan Briscoe down into the corner. Gaining ground. We talked to him before the start of the weekend about his opportunity here to race the Rousport machine.
You know, if I can just run within the limits of what the car can give me, I think, you know, we're definitely looking at the possibility of a podium today. So, you know, hopefully I can just be good on the full tanks. It's something else I don't have a lot of experience with these cars, and just try to have a solid race and see what we can come out with.
Well, Briscoe gaining ground, moving into the top 10. And Derek, this is the car that finished 2nd here behind Wilson a year ago. They know how to set cars up for this racetrack.
Rousports have 2 of the best cars here. Oh no, Dan Clark's day is done. The Roche France Rookie of the Year is decided right now because the main challenger, Dan Clark, who's had a spectacular year, really is fast. He's had some incidents. We hear that the differential has broken in Dan Clark's car. Very sad.
Big disappointment for the young driver from Great Britain who started the year, Derek, getting our attention for all the mistakes he seemed to be making, but he's learned. He's had a pole, and he's done some great driving this season. Meantime, here comes Briscoe, and he gets by Pizzonia. Pizzonia wants to try him back again.
That is not advisable down there because Briscoe obviously has a car quick enough, if not quicker, than the 3 cars he's running with here, Rice, Ranger, and Pizzonia. The key now is Briscoe has not done a lap quick enough yet to run at the front runner's pace, 131.2, but he's in traffic. Now that he's clear, I'm going to watch scoring to see, is he on the pace with a Bourdais or a Wilson or a Junqueira? They're in the 128s. Bourdais having set fastest lap of the race in the mid-128 second range.
Riding here with Andrew Ranger in the Tide Walmart MyJack Conquest machine. Moving up behind Pizzonia. Pizzonia had that bold move early to gain ground on that initial start where the wreck occurred involving Dominguez and Catherine Legge. But since then, Derek, it's obvious he's not as quick through the corners, especially through the tight, twisty bits as these guys.
And these S's here, this is a bit like Suzuka Formula One. You get the first one right and you go like a rocket through the rest of them. But if you have an unbalanced car through there, you are just junk. You are not fast. Cameron?
Well, I'm caught up with Speedy Dan Clark. And Dan, what happened to the car? I can't hear you. I asked, what happened to the car, Dan?
I don't know. As soon as we did the start, it was fine. I got into fifth, and then after all the yellow flag laps, did a start, and as soon as I got to a turn, it just started braking a load more when I did the down changes. Like the engine just wanted to switch off, like it had a brake on it. Did that for a couple laps, came in, tried things. At the same time, my radio it came disconnected on my drinks pipe, so I couldn't hear them. I came in the pits and we tried to have a look at it and went out again. It didn't change a thing, and it turns out it's a difference again.
Tough way to end the 2006 season, but hey, good luck next year in 2007.
Is that it?
That's it, Dan.
I get to gripe.
That's enough griping from Dan Clark. Always kind of the character here on pit road.
He will be second in the Roush Rookie of the Year chase. Will Power has clinched that honor.
And it looks like Pizzonia is not able to run quick enough for Ranger. Ranger looks to be faster in the MyJack Conquest car. I don't know.
Ranger.
He's not quick enough into the Peraltada, which means he's not close enough to drag race him down this long straight.
15 laps are on the board, and your leader continues to be Sebastian Bourdais. As Dan Clark has a word with one of the TV Azteca pit reporters. TV Azteca, our partner, host broadcaster here this weekend, and we appreciate their hard work bringing you these pictures as we have the final round of the Bridgestone Presents the Champ Car World Series season for 2006 underway here.
See what just happened again?
Yeah.
See, Pizzonia pulls out 3 or 4 or maybe even 6 car lengths through the Peraltada, and Ranger cannot get close enough to have a realistic run at the end of this long straight here.
Pizzonia holds position. He is 9th, Ranger 10th, Buddy Rice back there in 11th, steering the Forsyth Index car number 7. Right behind Rice, John Halen, Oriol Servia, who has struggled today. Andreas Worth, Catherine Legg. Worth, the last car in the lead lap, in 15th. Now we see Pizzonia dragging the brakes down into the corner.
No, that means he's standing on them as hard as he can, so he just doesn't have the balance. Rocks them again. See what Ranger does here? Ranger's looking for an opportunity, but he can't drive over the top of him. Now here's the key. This is where you gain or lose all your speed. Oh, look how slow Pizzonia is. Look, so slow through the S's.
Now you might be thinking about Cosworth power to pass here, and it is of course available, but it's 3 minutes worth of power to pass, 180 seconds. And the difference in horsepower today is 60. The base horsepower here is 680, and when you hit the button, you get a squeeze up to 740 horsepower.
Now here's the key. First gear, Pizzonia accelerates away, and he leaves Ranger. Oh, Rice peels off.
Buddy Rice headed down pit road. Now this is the opening of the very first pit stop window. And Jan Bikus and I talked about this a little before the start today, how teams that were behind might pit very early to try to jump track position, get a car into contention that otherwise was struggling. So here comes Rice in the 7 car. Jan.
And that is correct. Neil Mickelride on the radio. And it's exactly as you said. This is the opening of the pit window. This helps you just under 10 seconds. And this helps you if there's a yellow between now and when the leaders pit. If that were to happen, he would go right to the lead.
And they believe he has the speed, but he was caught in traffic. Well, they think he has the speed, so it's worth taking the gamble to see can they get their man to the head of the grid without having to pass those cars. It's a dangerous move if you don't get the yellow between now and when the leaders make their pit stops.
Last time we saw that work was at Portland in 2005 when Cristiano D'Amata scored PKV Racing's so far only Champ Car win on pit stop strategy masterminded by Jim McGee. But we'll see if it can work today for Buddy Rice. And Derek, the other issue that I'd heard from the Forsyth team was red tires. He doesn't seem to have yet figured out how to use the Bridgestone Reds.
And the braking issue. He brakes later and harder than he has in the past, and he hasn't quite got used to just how hard you can stand on these brakes. But Ranger is giving it all he can. He must be getting frustrated, Cameron.
Well, I'm here with Eric Bachelard, team owner for Andrew Ranger, and Andrew told me before the race, Eric, that he was battling balance problems all day. Is he still having the same problems?
Well, that's what he says on the radio, but I can see that he's been locking up the brakes quite a lot. And he's behind Pisonia right now, and Pisonia is very slow. So I think we're going to pit him now, and we're losing too much time, so he can't pass him on the brakes because I think his front tires are damaged. I think that's the main thing right now.
There you have it, Eric Bachelard bringing his driver in, gets some tires on that car, damaging him under braking behind Pisonia.
Well, now we've seen a second car try that early stop strategy. Ryan Briscoe, who's making good progress and had gotten himself up to 8th in front of Pisonia, but Rousport decides to pit him in the 10 car early, and Briscoe also hoping for a caution before the second round of pit stops would be necessitated as Pisonia continues to lead. Andrew Ranger, Buddy Rice back there. This is a battle for position, of course. You've got 8th, 9th, and 10th. Jan Halen in the mix. Rice had pitted earlier. He was shown 15th last time by.
And Briscoe's lap time when he ran by himself was a 1:29.5. That's about the pace Bruno Junqueira is running in 3rd place. And it's about 6 or 7 tenths slower than Wilson and Sebastien Bourdais.
Pisonia fighting hard in that Lexington Energy 18 car for the Rocket Sports team. New backing for that team before they went to Surfers Paradise. Pisonia on board full time at the moment. Let's ride here with second place driver Justin Wilson in the CDW 9 car. The Rousport team's entry that won here 1 year ago. They won also earlier this season at Edmonton. Wilson needs a 7th or better to take second in the Champ Car World Series this season.
And just so as people know, he broke his wrist. There's actually a screw inserted in the scaphoid bone in his right wrist. It's the quickest way to heal it and give it strength back. But it was risky to try and come here and race. But with the brace, he certainly has been quick enough so far.
Andrew Ranger brings the MyJack car, the Walmart machine, to pit road as well for an early stop. As we heard Eric Bachelard say, they would bring him in, try to take advantage of pit stop strategy and get Ranger toward the front of the
he
field.
stalled it. Did he stall it, or did it just go quiet?
I think it went quiet momentarily there. Didn't see him go for the electronic starter. The battery cart. Ranger back up through the gearbox, onto the front straightaway here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. We've completed 17 laps. Bourdais leads Justin Wilson now by just 7/10 of a second as we check in on that battle for the lead. And here's Wilson. Took a look to the inside as they headed toward 1.
Every session this weekend, Wilson has had the fastest car. Believe it or not, he would go out sometimes and only do a very short run, 2 or 3 laps, and go straight to the top of the charts. So he has had the best setup, the fastest car all weekend long. So I'm not surprised to see him begin to inch closer to Sebastien Bourdais.
It seemed as though he allowed Bourdais to take the lead at that moment on the restart, Derek. Is that a case of him thinking, hey, I'll take it easy, I'll ride in second, I'll save my strength for the last run?
It could be, because when we asked him at the top of the show, how will it be? He says, I don't know. You don't know until you get into the fight. I'd say he's fairly happy so far. Their lap times are comparable in the 28s, low 28s, mid 28s. Bourdais still has fastest lap of the race. And if Wilson, again, the key is the Peraltada corner, the long 180-degree right-hander that leads onto the long front straight. Wilson's car has been really good there all weekend. Right from here, here's the first gear, hairpin. The problem is, look at the jump Bourdais gets.
Yeah, Bourdais away quickly. Wilson second. Junqueira rides third in front of Power. Let's take a moment now and check our Ford Bold Moves moment this weekend here at Mexico City. It's been a season of bold moves for now 3-time Champ Car title holder Sebastien Bourdais. He came from behind at Houston to win his second consecutive event to start the 2006 season and establish his title defense. One of the monkeys Bourdais wanted to get off his back this year was an oval track victory. He accomplished it in style at the Milwaukee Mile. And Bourdais made several bold moves in the rain on a Monday at Montreal to notch one of his 6 victories on the season. Bourdais locked down his 3rd straight title at Surfers Paradise with an 8th place run. Ford Racing congratulates Sebastien Bourdais and Newman Haas for winning the 2006 Champ Car World Series title. Welcome back to Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. We're at the Grand Prix of Mexico City to wrap up 2006. Tonight on Speed, you can get in the wind tunnel with Dave Despain. Get fired up. Give Dave a call at 866-W-TUNNEL. The more animated you are, the more you'll be heard on Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain at 9 Eastern, only on Speed, 6 Pacific time. Mario Dominguez in the Pemex car for Rocket Sports. He was involved in that early wreck. Sebastian Bourdais, Justin Wilson battling down into the corner. The leaders just whipping by again. Show you the restart. Dominguez got caught in a wreck just as they came to the start-finish line.
It was with Catherine Legg. He's on the right side. Catherine moves over, not knowing that he's there. There's the incident right there, right side. Broke the left front suspension on Dominguez's car, not just the steering. They had to change the top wishbone, at least, on that car. Now he has a full view of the leaders he wanted to run with. Let's see, how fast can you run with these boys?
Of the top two, Sebastian Bourdais, who started second, got the jump on Justin Wilson after the cleanup from that wreck. We were full course yellow for several laps. Bourdais took the lead down into one. Wilson in his tire tracks right now, Derek.
And Wilson is quicker through the corners and these S's than Bourdais, just a little bit. But the first gear hairpin and the long front straight, Bourdais just has enough grunt to keep Wilson at bay. Here's the high curbs. That's Jan Halen. It's actually Ranger. Ranger now ahead of the leaders.
Ranger, of course, not on the lead.
He's closer. He's closer this time than ever. Oh, he's going to get it. He's got him. He's got him.
Wilson for the lead. On the inside, down into one. Justin Wilson retakes the point here at Mexico City.
He was obviously on the Cosworth power to pass. It's only worth about 300 revs here in a discussion I had with Craig Hampson, so it's not as much as normal because the straight is so long. But now let's see, will Wilson run away? Jan?
Bruno Junqueira's on pit road. He's been complaining of big understeers, so they're going to add some room. Put on the black sidewall Bridgestone. That's just under 9 seconds, and we're seeing over our shoulder. They're setting up for Sebastian Bourdais. We saw him just lose the lead. They're going to come and give him a black sidewall set of Bridgestones as well. So things are changing big time here for Newman Haas.
The McDonald's team over the wall with tires awaiting the season champion. Bourdais gives up the lead on lap 22.
And look what's happening now. I just said Wilson looked quicker through the S's in the infield section. This is what he's doing now, just running away from Bourdais. Has he sat behind him and saved fuel?
Could be.
He's done that before. They're masters at this team, Rousport.
66 laps the distance here today. 26 laps on a tank of fuel, the distance that you can go. So fuel strategy shouldn't be that big an issue, one wouldn't think, especially here.
Bourdais in.
Here for a couple laps. I may make a very quick call.
Yeah, Bourdais is in.
Bourdais is in the pits. I need a really good lap here. Copy.
Sebastian Bourdais throws a tear off, Jan.
Yes, and he's got two crew members that are suffering from food poisoning that are trying to change tires. Front outside, Norm Hornacek, and the rear inside, Kyle Subchik. They were throwing up just hours ago, but boy, they can still do a pit stop. That's what happens sometimes when you're south of the border, but they still can change with the best.
So Bourdais decides to stop early, and you heard Jeremy Dale telling Justin Wilson, we need a good lap right now.
That's Craig Hampson shouting on the radio, barking orders to Bourdais. He's at a big disadvantage here because Wilson right here is on low fuel. He can run like a rabbit away from Bourdais right now, make an even bigger gap before he makes a pit stop. So that was a master move by Wilson to pass Bourdais before Bourdais made that pit stop.
One more look at the pass for the lead. This is Wilson taking the point back a moment ago.
Don't know if he's on the juice, but pretty sure he is, using that extra horsepower down this long straight. Perfectly timed pass. Wilson on the champion Bourdais.
So Justin Wilson in the CDW9 car is out in front, going for back-to-back wins here at Mexico City. And Justin Wilson, the race leader, will follow Bourdais' move by coming to the pits. He ran an extra lap, as you said, Derek, on light fuel. So now the key is, can Rousport pit him quickly, Cameron?
Jeremy Dale did confirm that they were following and conserving fuel. This was the plan all along. He said he was giving up a little bit of grip on the reds, and they prefer the black tires, is what they were saying. And he also said that Justin Wilson said he feels like he is in control of this race.
That's confidence.
Oh, he looks in control. He does look in control. Went one lap longer. Have a look at this here.
4 different times so far this season. Bourdais and Wilson have run 1, 2, and after this race a year ago, Derek, when Rousport...
Seabass is by us now.
Okay, you hear what that was? He said hit the juice, hit overtake, because Seabass is right there. That was Todd Malloy, his engineer, gets on the radio to make sure on cold tires. Bourdais is a lap on tires that he's warmed up now. He doesn't want to lose this lead.
The lead's been handed to Will Power, who has not yet pitted. So Power, who was on pole in Australia and was so quick there in line, it appeared to score his first win. He's out in front of his teammate Alex Tagliani for the Walker Racing Team Australia bunch. These two cars have yet to stop. Wilson and Bourdais, it's been a great rivalry, 4 times 1-2 this year. Wilson thought he was a championship contender coming into the season. They dominated here a year ago. Their team ran 1-2. Wilson trying to, I think, to catch up a little bit and overcome some disappointment on Ryan Briscoe. He's got a huge problem. Briscoe has totally destroyed a right front tire. Briscoe ran over something, obviously. So for the second time today, Briscoe in the Rousport 10 car's got a tire problem, and he will try to nurse that car around to pit road. Tough break indeed for the 10 car. Briscoe was up in the top 10. Now, here comes Power to pit road. Tagliani swoops by him. Tag will stay out and lead laps. This will move Wilson back to second, and here comes Power. The Ross Franz Rookie of the Year, newly crowned, Jan Bikas.
Yes, he now does not have the pressure of the Rookie Championship. Wow, a close spot. Oh, there's contact. Wow, but he made it to his pit box.
He and Andreas Wirth got together.
So he managed to keep his composure. He also is going with a lot of front wing and the black sidewall tires. Well, it's a bit of a long stop, but considering what happened on the way into the pits, that was a nice recovery.
And an adjustment to the right, or to the front wings for Will Power. Because he did 1 lap at speed, Will also wins the Bridgestone Passion for Excellence Award. So he is an award winner right up to the first pit stop here.
Here's what happened on pit road. Here's Power coming to pit road, and Wirth was also headed off pit road at that time in the Sonny's barbecue car.
I would almost bet you that Wirth's radio man was on the radio to him saying, watch it, watch it, watch it. Here's Power. Because see what Wirth did? He actually turned in with him, knowing that if he didn't do that, there was going to be big contact. So I think he turned in, got on the brakes, just about halted a catastrophe. Meanwhile, is Tag leading?
Tagliani is out in front. Alex Tagliani getting a moment in the sunshine here. Now he's playing a much different fuel strategy. He's almost at the outer edge of the fuel window, and he comes down inside the broken white line. You've got to have all 4 wheels inside that line per Champ Car rule for this race. So here comes Alex Tagliani, and that'll vault Nelson Philippe into the lead, at least momentarily. Yanni's headed your way.
Pit, so you can come straight in. Just slow it down.
You can hear him on the radio. They'll talk him through. I will tell you, while we watch this stop, there are a few raindrops that have been falling here on pit road. Nelson Philippe goes by. Another car here going to the black sidewall Bridgestone. That seems to be the tire of choice. Very similar stop, just over 9 seconds for Tagliani. Again, a few raindrops on pit road. Most everyone pitted. Who knows if rain tires are in the future.
Justin Wilson and Bourdais retake the top 2 spots as these cars come to pit road. Ryan Briscoe has had repairs done. David Martinez in that Telmax Forsyth machine, he's made a pit stop. He's back out in 6th. So for Martinez, the Atlantic Series graduate, a very impressive first run in a Champ Car World Series machine. Now the race handed back to Wilson, and he's 3 seconds to the good over Bourdais.
I don't know whether you could sense it, but the crowd could begin to sense as the pit stops unfolded. Their man, David Martinez, in his very first race, actually ran 2nd at one stage before he peeled off into the pits. So the crowd hoped that he was going to be able to hang on for 1 more lap. When Philippe pulled off, who was leading, boy, the cheer you would have heard then. It was temporary, but they still would have enjoyed seeing their man Martinez lead here.
Well, now the top 7 have all pitted, and Martinez is slotted 6th. So it's been a good first stint for Martinez at a Champ Car.
Junqueira, we need to let this scoring settle down first, because
that's what happened.
Philippe.
That's what happened to Ryan Briscoe, Derek. You could see that right front just come apart as he came down the front straightaway.
Well, I've never seen that on a Bridgestone, because so I can only, and wow, it looks like he might have locked a brake. There is Andreas Wirth, who did an outstanding job to avoid that crash in the pit lane.
You'd have to think that Briscoe's problem was either due to a flat-spotted tire or that he'd run over some debris.
Yeah, because I've never seen a tire explode like that. It absolutely has to be one of those two things. Or contact with somebody, but I don't think he was running that close to anybody at that time.
That's his second tire issue of the day. We had a glimpse of the tire the first time. Don't know that we saw it on the air, but the sidewall was cut, and Jan pointed out that that's very often the case of a winglet slicing that sidewall. In this case, the entire cross part of the main tread area of the tire was just blown up. So
okay, so here's how this race is going to unfold. Wilson and Bourdais are now on the same black sidewall Bridgestone Potenzas. Wilson's last lap, 28.6, 0.4 of a second quicker than Bourdais. They are both clear of the field, but have a look at this here. CDW is just way ahead of Bourdais, suddenly 2 laps after the pit stop.
Justin Wilson is your leader. Bourdais slots in second in front of his teammate. And the Aussie Vineyards bunch 4th and 5th. Buddy Rice has moved into the top 10 in front of Oriol Servia. Justin Wilson, meantime, trying to bag his second win of the season, his 4th career win with the Roo Sport squad out of Loveland, Colorado.
All I'm saying is...
And welcome into Mexico City at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. As Jan Bikas told us, rain starting to fall here. Now everybody's on dry tires. They've all made their first stops. I'm thinking we'll see teams put wet weather tires up quickly. Look at this. We've got a helmet cam with Andrew Ranger today. Look at the rain washing onto his face mask, Derek.
This is going to put the cat among the pigeons here.
Derek Daly and Jan Bikas, guys, you've driven in this sort of situation many times. How quickly did they need to stop for wet weather tires?
Well, it's a case where we can do a couple things at one time. We can talk about the wet weather tires, and we can answer 2 questions. First of all, what we had happen with Sebastian Bourdais. He pitted early, said that his Bridgestone red sidewall tires were worn out. With Al Spire of Bridgestone, we don't see any wear indicators. Why so much wear?
Well, I think Sebastian was running very fast. He and Justin were clearly the class of the field, and the reds do go off more than the blacks do, and Sebastian wore this set out. We'll keep working on it. That's part of the reason we're racing, and we come back here next year, we'll have a different set.
Then we saw Ryan Briscoe with the tire exploded. What happened?
Yeah, Ryan Briscoe, the team told us very clearly he locked it up going into the chicane, very badly flat spotted it, and it finally let go coming down the main straight.
Now you and I are getting wet. How soon do we put on the wet tires?
Well, the way it's raining right now, I'd say it's going to be pretty soon, and that'll probably be the biggest tire story of the race.
Well, we're going to get in position because I have a feeling any moment we're going to have pit stops for wets. Thank you, Al.
Forsyth team battling for position here. Buddy Rice on the inside in the 7 car. He moves by Martinez as they are behind Briscoe now. This is for 7th and 8th, and Briscoe, with that tire issue, he's back 15th a lap down.
So Buddy Rice, who has problems, let's say issues, not problems, but getting used to the braking abilities of these cars, has been something that he's tried to get over. If it rains, then you need the delicate touch. It'll be really interesting to see what happens if it does rain and puts him on wet weather tires here.
Buddy Rice moving by Martinez. Martinez, of course, a homeland favorite here in Mexico City. Martinez back to 8th, and Rice moves up to 7th. Now, Buddy Rice has got a Champ Car background. He raced in the Champ Car Atlantic Championship for a couple of seasons, won the title in the 2000 season, driving for the DSTP team, which was very well known for a number of years in the Atlantic Series. Buddy Rice moved on, of course, to the other major open wheel tour in the country, won the Indy 500 a couple of years ago. Rice returns home this weekend, auditioning for a job, I would say, with Forsyth Championship Racing.
And he looks remarkably like A.J. Allmendinger. Same, he's got a helmet color scheme because it's Red Bull painted just like his, so you wouldn't know who was driving the car. But remarkably like A.J. Allmendinger. Is he coming in?
I think teams are starting to bring their cars in. Yeah, here comes the Forsyth team. They will pit on lap 31, and the Team Australia cars are in, Jan.
Yes, both Team Australia cars are going for the wet tires. We see Nelson and Philippe go by. They will usually make changes on the wings, but they don't for Will Power. We watch while they make changes with Alex Tagliani. Again, no front wing changes at the moment, just the tire.
Wow. Now the strategic move here is, when do you stop? You stop just before, if you can, before you really need full wets, but you stay out as long as possible. Now, the worst thing that could happen if you stop early is that it doesn't rain very heavily. So the guys who wait, suddenly you hand them a big advantage.
Well, Rousport decided to leave as we watch Justin Wilson continue to lead. He stays out on the racetrack for now. Bourdais is still out there. And they also left Ryan Briscoe out there on the slicks in conditions that are getting worse. But Briscoe's plan, I'm sure, was to try to get his lap back as we watch Wilson work his way through the slower traffic now. Wilson on the lead, moving by one of the Forsyth cars. Now he's up behind Buddy Rice, who runs 9th. Catherine Leggs on pit road for her rain tires.
So is Buddy Rice quicker on wets? No, doesn't look like it. Oh, he's leaving room for Wilson. He sees him. Wilson is quicker on the slicks. Oh, it's touch and go right now, but Rice does see him.
Wilson's got to be careful. You don't want to put a tire up on the painted surface here when it's a little bit wet, because that can really be treacherous.
Now, but good job by Buddy Rice. He watched his mirrors and he saw Wilson poke his nose down the inside. The worst thing he could have done was chop down and take the two of them into the boondocks.
Mario Dominguez still out there on slicks.
Where's Bourdais while this is happening?
Bourdais is 5 seconds back, but Wilson is being held up, Jan.
Pit this lap.
Sebastian Bourdais.
Copy, we're ready. Pit.
And you can hear they're going to pit Wilson, but they decided to take a gamble on Bourdais. He's not going to pit. They had the wet tires out. They decided no, because it stopped raining for a moment. Now that may be a bad call because it's starting to pour down here on pit road.
Here comes Wilson to pit road.
Are you sure they're going to leave Bourdais out there? Let's watch how this thing unfolds. This will help Wilson's wrist injury. Driving in the rain is nowhere near as difficult as when you have the heavy G-forces fighting the steering wheel, and Bourdais flies by the front straight here. Cameron.
Well, you can hear him telling Justin Wilson to be careful on the painted surface coming in.
You did the right thing.
But they're saying they did the right thing by coming in for those wet weather tires. Sebastian Bourdais risking it for at least another lap.
Now remember that Bourdais won at Montreal in wet conditions back at the end of August. Wilson slowly off pit road, observing the speed limit. We're just past halfway. This puts Bourdais out in front. Wilson gives up a ton of track position here.
Huge gamble though for Bourdais, because how quickly is he able to run? There he is in the middle of the same mix that Wilson was in on the last lap, and he is not quicker. In fact, if anything, he's slower right now than Ranger, who's on wet weather tires behind him. Bourdais is losing time.
Do you want? Tell us the wing adjustment.
Tell us the weight adjustment.
Wing adjustment.
Wing.
We are ready.
It is raining very hard on the front stretch. Anybody left on dries is really taking a risk, and that would include Bourdais at this point. The McDonald's Newman Haas team ready to go.
He hasn't lost much time. He has not lost much time to Wilson on that lap. How quick was Wilson on his out lap?
Ready. Set of wets here. No wing adjustment.
No wing adjustment for Bourdais. Into the bus stop. He's almost to pit road.
Ranger got by him.
Team ready for the series champion.
I think he's lost time. Overall, I think he's lost time. When he comes in, gets back out, I think you'll see how much Wilson is ahead of him. I think he's lost time.
Sebastian Bourdais, the season champion.
Clear out. Nice and easy. Surface is wet. Right on the marks. No wing adjustment. Right on there. That's it. Easy does
Kenny Seawick is so good on the radio.
Oh, beautiful.
And they're going to put the wet tires on, as you heard, with no wing adjustments. They had told him earlier that wet tires, wow, he was actually spinning the tires before it dropped off the jacks. They were saying that wet tires, Derek, were 8 seconds allowed. So they were hoping that somehow he could stay quicker than that. And obviously with this kind of rain, he couldn't.
Wilson just flew by him. Flew by him down this straight. Now, one of the issues Bourdais told me after the session this morning, which was wet, dry, and warm-up, he said the painted chicane that along this front straight is actually causing wheel spin on the rear. He thinks if it rains hard, it's going to be an issue. He thinks he's going to have to drive around almost the chicane down this front straight.
All right, let's reset where we are. Bourdais shown the race leader in front of Wilson, but Wilson blew by as Bourdais was exiting pit road. Bruno Junqueira shown third right here in the hole-in-the-wall Camps 2 car for the Newman Haas team. Then you've got Power fourth, Nelson Philippe fifth at the moment in front of Tagliani. Buddy Rice has worked his way up to seventh. Much better effort from Rice than we had seen all weekend long. Serbia, David Martinez, and Andrew Ranger, your top 10 at the moment. We watch Bruno Junqueira, who desperately wants to win here this weekend. Really, he's racing to hold on to his ride as much as anything else. In that hole-in-the-wall Camps 2 car. Bruno Junqueira battling back from that injury at Indianapolis a year ago. It's taken him almost a full season to get back to form. McDonald's team, they put wet weather tires on Bourdais' car. Junqueira shown now as the leader in front of Wilson and Bourdais, Tagliani and Rice, and the top 10 completed by Andrew Ranger. Bruno Junqueira, have a look at his career statistics. This season, it's been a pole and 4 top 5s for Bruno. Welcome back to the Champ Car Grand Prix of Mexico City at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez with Derek Daly. I'm Rick Benjamin. Speed on Demand puts the power in your hands because some things are worth living over and over again. Never miss your favorite show. Go to speedtv.com. Get speed on demand. We're just past halfway, riding with Andrew Ranger. The rain started to fall about 10 minutes ago, and that has changed the mix dramatically here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Ranger at the moment up to 9th in that MyJack Conquest Walmart machine. He started 16th today. He's gained ground nicely, but the race lead is back in the hands of Justin Wilson in the CDW 9 car for the Rousport team. Won here a year ago, won at Edmonton this summer. Wants to win his second race of the season before things close out. Bourdais is second and Junqueira third. Now everybody has rain tires on. We're more than halfway home. Let's recap the first half of the action here today at Mexico City. Incident as they came to the green flag. Catherine Legge and Mario Dominguez got together. Legge's car into the inside retaining wall. Heavy damage to the Bell Micro car. They've repaired it. She's back out there, and she's just a couple of laps down. The damage much heavier to the Rocket Sports 8 car of Dominguez. He's on the track, but he's 5 laps down. The repairs took a while, but both those drivers are back in the hunt. After 7 laps under caution, the green reappeared on lap 8, and Sebastian Bourdais, who lined up second, made a bonsai move to the inside down into 1 and took the point away from Justin Wilson. And Bourdais, the season champion, would lead many laps. Dan Clark's day ended early. A differential problem in the CTE HVM 14 car. Clark second in the Roche France Rookie of the Year standings. Now, Justin Wilson, a little while ago, got back around Bourdais. Same spot, into the front straightaway, down into 1. Wilson, the race leader. Ryan Briscoe's had some tire issues today. He flat spotted a right front. It came apart on the front stretch. He's okay. He's back in the hunt. Now, as the teams were scrambling during the first pit stop sequence, Andreas Wirth in the 19 car and Will Power got together, no damage. Then the rains came, and all the teams had to come to pit road again for wet weather tires. Wilson gave up the lead. The Rousport team doing a quick tire change for him. Bourdais came to pit road a lap later. The McDonald's Newman Haas team hoping that he could stay out 1 extra lap and gain a lot of track position on Wilson. Didn't quite work out that way. Wilson right now has a near 7-second lead over Bourdais as they run 1-2. Mario Dominguez still several laps down, shown 17th, 5 laps down to the leaders after that lap 1 incident. Dominguez, though, with a lot to show here. Mexican corporate backing on this car the last couple of races. The Pemex backing big for him. He's certainly hoping to return to Rocket Sports in 2007 and run a full Champ Car season with the proper backing.
At least we have him out there. He is unfortunately 5 laps down. It took that much time to repair the damage to that left front suspension. But meanwhile, up front, people like Ranger are trying to make hay while the sun doesn't shine here. Going reasonably well. Ranger, remember, is an ex-Canadian ice racing champion. So he is good when there is very little grip. Ranger's still in the top 10 in 9th. But Wilson is the class of the field. Was in the dry, more so now that it's raining.
Well, he was in position to perhaps win in Montreal on Monday. Ran out of road. Then I got to the final corner at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve and got into the wall, and that ended his bid. Andrew Ranger's gotten the bonus point. As we told you, he's been great this year at improving his starting position. He's done it 4 times. He's been the most improved 4 times this season. And Ranger, you know, is still a teenager, and he's just done a terrific job, I think, in his second season in Champ Car. Really learning his way nicely. From a great racing family up in Quebec, his dad, Robert, a great dirt track racer up there and an accomplished ice racer as well. As we watch Ranger tracking here.
Serbia just ahead of him, cleans the road a little bit. Sometimes in the rain, you try and follow the wheel tracks of the guy ahead of you because that is a drier line.
Serbia shown in 8th. Ranger is 9th right now. They're past halfway. The unfortunate thing for these teams, Derek, is they had to put the reins on before the second pit window opened. So everyone presumably will have one more stop for fuel before we get done here today.
and I don't think it's actually raining as we speak. So the chances are we could, wow, look at that haze of moisture there. We could potentially go back, back to dry tires. Now, Buddy Rice has improved here.
Yeah, Buddy Rice has moved up nicely. He's 7th right now. And he has gained considerable ground. They've used pit stop strategy to help him out, and he has driven nicely.
See the way the rain runs off Andrew Ranger's visor. A driver will put something like a Rain-X or even a polish, a silicone surface, so the rain literally runs off a rounded surface. Jan?
In the case of Oriol Servia, he was one of those drivers that pitted early to take advantage of that early pit window. Remember, he was on pit road for a new front wing. And you had asked earlier on, was the wing actually damaged or was it a tire mark? It was damaged. It was a good call. The reason he's moved up so much, everyone had to pit early for rain tires. He was already on an early sequence, didn't have to take as much fuel. He is, however, complaining of some push or understeer, making his job difficult.
Will Power was 4th, went way off the road and through the grass. He's back on course, but that's one of the things you run into in this situation when you're racing in the wet. The other thing you've got to watch, Derek, if you do that, your tires get very dirty for a while.
And you see what he did? He realized he was not going to make the corner in any way, shape, or form, and actually just headed straight. Keep the car as straight as you can when you go across the grass. Don't spin it, because when you spin on wet grass, it's like as if you spin on ice. So Power was not trying to pass anybody, so I don't believe there'll be a penalty for what he just did there.
Watching Ryan Briscoe in the Rousport car number 10. Briscoe tried after that tire problem to use a pit stop gamble to get himself to the front of the pack. It didn't pay off as everyone did stop for the rains. That potential advantage went away, and he's shown now 2 laps down after the second tire issue of the day for the 10 car. So it will not be a 1-2 finish today for the Rousport squad here at Mexico City, but Wilson's still the leader. He's got almost 6 seconds of an advantage over Sebastian Bourdais, who has clinched his 3rd consecutive Champ Car championship by virtue of his 8th place finish at Surfers Paradise last month. Here's what happened to Ryan Briscoe earlier. This was just before the rain started to fall. The tire came apart, and they said he had flat spotted that right front.
That would have been right where he flat spotted, where the big hole came into it. But Ryan Briscoe, the day did not unfold as he had wished. He has shown 2 laps down in 15th place, but he had a good qualifying session. They know he is fast. He at least got to leave that calling card that he does have the speed.
Let's go down the front straightaway into turn number 1. Western Union on board with CDW, the Rousport 10 car. This, of course, the car that A.J. Allmendinger and Cristiano D'Amata have driven this season. And D'Amata's recovery now in Brazil, Derek, he's taken a sharp turn for the better in the last few days.
Bruno Junqueira spoke to him yesterday, and he is in great form. Doctor told him he can now drive his road car, so he is active. But his recovery has been, although very scary initially, been better than anticipated. Good on you, Cristiano.
As we watch Alex Tagliani, a couple of top 3 finishes this season for Tag, who's 5th in that Team Australia Aussie Vineyards car. Not certain where Tag will be plying his trade in 2007. He's another of those drivers who may well be auditioning for a job next season. There's been talk, of course, that Team Australia might field 2 Australian drivers, Will Power being one of those next year.
Yeah, talk that Ryan Briscoe may end up there. Another quick Australian. I mean, they make no bones about it. This team was set up to support Australia. Nelson Philippe goes straight on, just like Will Power did. Again, not trying to pass anybody, just trying to save his equipment.
25 laps to go here in Mexico City. Philippe back to 6th now as Tag gets by. An off-course excursion for the Wellbox car number 4, the CT HVM machine, costing Philippe a spot. Buddy Rice 7th, Servia, Ranger, and David Martinez now rounding out the top 10. Philippe 4th in the championship, had that top 3 run at Milwaukee on the oval, and then the victory at Surfers Paradise, and he was close a couple of other times, Derek. We thought at Toronto he might steal the win this summer.
He's had an outstanding season, there is no doubt. You forget that he's only 20 years old. What I found very interesting is that his win in Australia was only his 2nd ever win in any racing event. That was remarkable, Jan.
A moment ago you said 25 laps to go. Consider you can run 26 laps on a load of fuel. meaning that there will only be one more pit stop in this race for everyone. The rain is starting to, it's still raining, but it's raining less. So the question is, when do you pit and what tires do you take if it starts to dry?
Right now, the track conditions are still pretty wet, and I would think if anybody was going to gamble here, it might be to stop now, hope for a yellow, try to go all the way to the end, because you could get there from this point. As we watch, on board Justin Wilson's machine, Cameron Steele.
They asked Justin Wilson just a few moments ago if the track is drying up, and he said it is stabilizing. So not really sure. Mixed review there from Justin Wilson. Remember, he grew up in Sheffield, England, where there's a fair bit of rain. So stabilizing for him may be a little different for him than the rest of the drivers.
If there's one guy here who should be at home in the wet conditions, it's Wilson.
Absolutely. Well used to driving in these type of conditions. Lots of racing, particularly the front and back end of seasons in England. So Wilson, this is going his way. Now the lead, talk about stabilizing, Bourdais is running about the same time as Wilson, a 10th here, 10th there. So it's 6 seconds lead, which it was about 5 laps earlier. Junqueira is about a second slower than the front runners, but Will Power and Tagliani, believe it or not, are still running at the front runners' pace in the rain.
They are 4th and 5th. Philippe 6th in front of Rice. Battling for position a little further back, you've got Rice, Servia, Ranger, and Martinez all close together here. That's the car of Andreas Worth. That's the Dale Coyne Sonny's Barbecue entry. But this is battling for position. Rice, Servia, and Ranger running 7th, 8th, and 9th as we get on board the Walmart machine of Andrew Ranger.
This is where you need the traction. Listen. Nice feather of the throttle to keep the back end underneath him. Rice now realizes in the rain, suddenly it's hard to see in your mirrors. You just see a blur of color. Here comes the blur going by him. Oh!
Near hit.
Boy, that was close.
Martinez and Servia. Buddy Rice in the mix there as well. Buddy Rice getting passed there by Oriol Servia for position. So Rice moves back and Servia moves up. And here comes the 27 car of Andrew Ranger. Closes right in on Buddy Rice's rear wing.
In the brake zone. Ranger's been driving this thing hard all day. Every time we've been on board, every time we've watched him, he's got it on the limit. He's on the brakes. He's aggressive. He is definitely given it a good workout this afternoon.
Andrew Ranger lined up 16th there today. This is out of Montreal.
All these engines, of course, have pop-off valves. This is the last time you'll ever see a pop-off valve. Since 1979, pop-off valves were used on the top of these engines in Champ Car. No longer, because it's all electronically controlled next year on the new Champ Car.
One of the things I think we're seeing now, Derek, as we watch that battle, and here comes Servia, and he will try to get to the inside of Worth, who's a couple of, well, not in, he's one lap down, Worth in 14th spot, so that's not a battle for position. It's dry at some parts of the racetrack right now. The rain's only falling in certain areas.
Watch Ranger here. He's well positioned.
Battling with Rice.
Yeah, that's a long straight. That's Rice ahead of him. Nope. Nope. Oh. Boy, that's a long way behind to try and make a run down the inside.
So Rice hangs on. Servia up to 7th behind Philippe now. Rice shuffled back to 8th, Ranger in 9th. 22 laps to go.
They're trying to get 19 out of your way. They're trying to get Worth out of there, so expect to, hopefully we'll get by him.
Andrew Ranger hearing from his crew that Champ Car asking Andreas Worth to move out of the way and let this battle proceed. Worth back in 14th, a lap down to the leaders. Charles Wolsman pitting for his final time today. Wolsman 12th. And the MyJack Conquest 34, so an early stop for Wolsman, which, along with Jan Halen, those two drivers could vault to the front, depending on how this plays out.
I'm surprised I have not seen Andrew Ranger go offline. He's still using the racing line, even though it's wet. That suggests it's not really wet through those racing lines.
22 to go in Mexico City. Wilson with a 5.5-second lead over Bourdais. Philippe leads Servia, Rice, and Ranger. David Martinez in 10th. Paul Tracy not with us this weekend. Injured at home several days ago. Paul Tracy with 9 top 10s, though, during the season. Back in Mexico City, and a reminder, Friday on Speed, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series season finale, the Ford 200 at Homestead. They've been battling all year, the championship down to one final race. Todd Bodine and Johnny Benson in the hunt for the championship. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Ford 200 live from Homestead, Friday night, 7:30 Eastern, only here on Speed. Alongside Derek Daly, I'm Rick Benjamin. Our desert assassin, Cameron Steele, on pit road, along with Jan Bikas as we ride here in the Pemex car number 8. Mario Dominguez several laps down. This is a look from the helmet cam of Wayne Hill, one of the tire changers for the Rocket Sports squad.
Awesome pictures. Just how hectic it can be. Then it's his responsibility to hold the driver until he sees the fueler pull the fuel hose out, and he lets him go.
Dominguez back in action. He was taken out of contention, certainly, and that's shunt at the start. When the field came to the green flag, he and Catherine Legg got together. Dominguez 17th, 6 laps down.
I can't believe Andreas Wirth has been given a black flag. He's been told to move over. He either cannot hear the radio, does not see his pit board, or all of the above. He's now gone off into the pit lane, so he must have known, yet he waited a whole lap holding up the train of 4 cars who spent the last 4 or 5 laps right behind him.
Serbia 7th, Ranger 8th, Rice and Martinez nose to tail. This is Rice here in the 7 car for the Forsyth team, and Martinez in the Telmex Index car behind. Martinez takes a look on his teammate. Ranger up in 8th now behind Serbia. So Wirth makes his pass through pit road to serve his black flag penalty. And the Sonny's barbecue car, he'll return to the fray. Well, the first 2 Champ Car Atlantic rounds of this season at Long Beach and Houston. Thought he might well have been a championship contender. He drove for the Forsyth Atlantic team this year, but the season ended up in the hands of Simon Pagenaud.
There's something about this kid Martinez, because they've now thrown him into the deep end. They've now given him rain, changing conditions. He has not put a wheel wrong. I think he has a big future ahead of him. Buddy Rice is a lot more experienced, yet Martinez is right behind him.
Speaking of right behind, I'm sorry, Derek, Will Power wants 3rd away here from Junqueira. This is for position, and Power goes inside Bruno.
Bruno went too wide. Bruno braked way too late, scrambled around the outside, and Will Power, who we saw go off the road through the grass earlier, has an Australian potentially in a position for a podium. That has not happened since Jeff Brabham in 1987 in Miami.
And look at how dry it is on the backside of the course. Very wet over here on the front stretch, but on the backside, it's really almost dry completely.
Okay, so now to follow up on what Jan Bikas said earlier on, now not only what tires do you put on, when do you put them on? Because if you judge the drying conditions absolutely perfectly, in other words, if you put dries on and you don't lose time to the guys on wets, that is the perfect time to make the stop. Power running away now from Bruno.
Will Power moves to 3rd in car number 5. He is the Rocheron's Rookie of the Year. And look at that consistency mark. He's got the most laps completed this year. That's put him in contention in the standings overall and has given him the Rookie of the Year honors in that car number 5 for the Aussie Vineyards team.
And you saw him earlier in a head-to-head with Tagliani down to the brake zone. He was the brave one, went down the inside and took the position away from Tag. And he is one of the drivers that is beginning to use this higher line now, because as the track dries out, these wet weather tires overheat and it just scorches the rubber off. So you need to seek out the wet weather, which is what he's doing here. Look, way offline on the front straight here to cool these wet weather tires.
Now here's the battle again for 3rd. This is the move Power makes by Junqueira.
Junqueira just looked as if he braked too late. Actually, he braked too late because Power had actually given up. He said, I'm not going to make it. Forced Bruno to brake late, probably because he was in his mirrors.
Now Bruno has stopped again with 18 laps to go. Jan Bikas, what did they do? Did they put dries on?
No, they still left the wet tires, but they put some new wet tires that have some sharp edges, but they did add front wing. A lot of discussions up and down pit road here. I just don't think there's any way you could go with slicks right now. If you had a lot of fuel on board, you would keep running and running as late as you possibly could, but it would be a tremendous gamble to go slicks now.
18 laps to go. Wilson with 48 laps on the board, about to be 49. Retains the lead as he closes in behind Martinez. Martinez in 10th, maybe in danger of going a lap down here. Wilson's got a 4.5-second lead over Sebastian Bourdais. Now, all these cars need one more stop for some fuel. And the question will be, do you change to dry weather tires? Well, race leader has been Justin Wilson in the CDW9 car. Let's listen as he tries to navigate this still damp racetrack. Justin Wilson putting lap number 50 of 66 on the board today here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. And Derek, in the last lap, Wilson has pulled away from Bourdais. He's added 4 seconds to his lead. And they're both on wet weather tires.
I can only imagine Bourdais has either made a mistake or he has had a little bit more trouble navigating through traffic. Usually, though, when the leaders come up behind you, the slower guys actually give you room. So maybe Bourdais did make a mistake.
Wilson now with plenty of sunshine, well, track distance anyway, not much sunshine here at the moment between his car and that of the season champion.
You mentioned Paul Tracy earlier on. I spoke to him on the phone last night. He is confined more or less to his house for 3 weeks because of the broken shoulder blade, which is a bit like Montoya's accident when he drove the McLaren earlier this year. Paul thought he could accelerate the recuperation process and the healing process and overdid it and put himself back. Oh, Justin has armfuls. So we miss Paul Tracy. He is the big star of Champ Car, so we certainly miss him. I'm sorry that he's sitting on his couch watching what we do here. Look at Wilson use all the roads.
Nearly caught the wall. He put a wheel in the grass there momentarily. Wilson's got a big lead. He needs to tiptoe here for a while. Wilson getting back up to speed.
So it's this half, the left side of the racetrack that's wet. The right side of the racetrack, as you look down the middle, is what's dry, Cameron.
Well, talking to Justin Wilson before the race, he said the part that hurts the most is when the back end of the car starts to come out from underneath him and he has to snap his arms back. That is when he's under the most pain. And also reporting from their pit.
Al Cameron Steele. A technical issue there. We'll try to get back and hear more from him in a few moments. He's got a big week coming up because he's taking his Desert Assassins off-road team down to the Baja in a couple of days to race the legendary Baja 1000. And we wish him all the best. It's been a fun season, certainly, to have Cameron with us for the first time this year. Watching the 3-time Champ Car champion Bourdais in the McDonald's car, 7.5 seconds back. Now, he gained a second back on Wilson on the last lap. He badly wants to win, Derek. Here he's got 15 laps to try to get up to the lead.
That's Brian Lyles, right side of your screen, general manager, one of my engineers in Formula One back in 1980 at the Tyrrell F1 team, watching over Bourdais. We did hear that he may make a pit stop relatively soon. I think they might realize that's the only way they can gamble potentially to beat Wilson. Jan?
And there was animated discussions going on down here in Newman Haas between Craig Hampson and also Brian Lyles. They're talking about tires. I don't think they're considering going to slick tires. They're thinking about not changing tires or only changing 2, or they're trying to come up with something that they can think of to increase the chances that Bourdais can close the gap. They keep watching the weather carefully, and uncharacteristic of Craig Hampson said, sorry, we're too busy right now, when we asked him for a comment.
Trying to figure out a way to win, even though they've got the championship locked up. No chance that anything could happen to take that away from them here, but they want to close the year with a victory.
Push to pass when you catch traffic. Push to pass to get around traffic.
And Bourdais got plenty of it, a minute.
Yeah.
More than a minute. He's got more than 2 minutes, in fact. 134 seconds of Cosworth power to pass time.
And that was Craig Hampson, his engineer. Is that Martinez who's coming up behind? Or is it Rice?
Bourdais down into turn number 1. Rice is 9th, Martinez is 10th, so he would be catching Martinez first. 22 for 58. Bourdais with an incredible winning percentage.
And that 22 wins puts him the second most successful driver ever in a Lola. The Lolas will be done as of this race. Most successful driver in a Lola, Michael Andretti. And they sort of go out without much fanfare, but Lola has been so good to Champ Car over the last, I don't know how many years. Lola is such a stalwart of motorsports. There it is there. There's some of the numbers. Remarkable, just remarkable.
Tied for 13th all-time in career victories already in just his 4th Champ Car season. Tied for 7th career with Paul Tracy for the number of poles. He's won 14 times from the pole. 17th on the Champ Car list all-time with the number of laps led. And he's gaining ground on Wilson, Derek. He's now 6 2/3 seconds back. Last time by. Laps winding down. 14 to go. He's not out of this.
He's putting the big effort in here right now as Carl Haas and Paul Newman watch on. Haven't seen Paul here this weekend, but Carl Haas, a distributor of these Lola cars and parts for 43 years. Seldom did you ever hear of a relationship anywhere going on that long.
Bourdais down the front straightaway.
Now it's down to 5.7.
Will Power trying to gain on the leaders as well. Power is 3rd, hoping to get to the podium here today. 38 seconds, though, behind the leader, and he's got a 30-second lead over his teammate Alex Tagliani, who's 4th. We talked to Will Power about this rookie season in Champ Car.
I've come on well in the second half of the year. I've gained experience. I'm really understanding the car, and I know exactly what I want from it and what actually makes it fast. So that with the shaker rig testing and just everyone in the team bonding, it's I think we've all come together really well.
And they have come together nicely because Power has just improved week by week.
In my opinion, the most improved driver of the year is Will Power. We'll know exactly who it is at the Champ Car banquet
next week,
which happens in Indianapolis next week. Nelson Philippe won the Bosch Most Improved Driver Award last year, but I don't know how you could look past Will Power, what he has done, particularly how strong he has been on the back half of this season. And of course his teacher is Derek Walker, who's one of the very best.
Race leader Justin Wilson here in the CDW 9 car for the Rousport team. Wilson's led a lot of laps, fast qualifier, trying to go back to back. He's going to pit.
Work on your marks here.
Okay, what is Bourdais going to do? Will Bourdais now do the exact opposite and stay out? This is the exact opposite of what happened earlier. Bourdais stayed out. He stayed out.
Quick stop. We're going to need a grayed out lap. Clear, clear, clear.
Wet weather tires stay on the 9 car.
Great outlet.
Tires are cold.
And it's got heavier fuel. Bourdais is lighter, and he began to eat into your lead. So the race could unfold right here between now and when Sébastien Bourdais elects to make his pit stop.
12 laps to go. Bourdais takes the lead with Wilson making a green flag stop.
Whoa, this is going to be close here.
Now this is the dry portion of the racetrack. Backside of the course is much drier than the front stretch. Bourdais out in front.
He's got to be careful on the dry stuff here that he doesn't toast these wet weather tires. It's a softer compound, and you can easily run the compound, run the rubber literally off the road, burn it off the road, off the tire.
Will Power stopping from 3rd to get a new set of wet weather tires. Bourdais stays on the tires he'd been using.
There's that dry line. See, he turns in with understeer. The front begins to turn, and it won't bite. Oh, he moves out just to cool the tires down.
He's got to find damp conditions wherever he can now.
I think Hampson and Seawick are going to monitor how quickly he can go and leave him out there. If he's quick enough, they might just stretch this further. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
We have 11 laps to go. Will these tires last 11 laps?
Did he say yes?
Understand, they will last 7.
They're telling him they will last.
They're going to do a dash of fuel. They're going to stay out, run them as long as they can on light fuel, do a splash and go, and hope that beats Wilson.
18.5 seconds is the lead for Bourdais at the moment. Last time by, Wilson second. Power, Tagliani, and Bruno Junqueira the top 5.
Oh.
Philippe and Servia fighting it out for 6th.
Oh, this is good stuff here. Graham Rahal has been here with the team all weekend long. Hopes to drive for the Newman Haas team next year. Says he'll drive for somebody. The conjecture is that it's Newman Haas.
Thus the speculation about Bruno Junqueira's future. Sebastian Bourdais, we know, will be back in the McDonald's car, going for a 4-peat in Champ Car next season. Bourdais back in the lead. Different tire strategy for Bourdais. They've left him out there. Wilson stopping a moment ago for a fresh set of wet weather tires. Coming up on 10 laps to go at Mexico City. There's your top 5. We'll be back with more. Race leader Sebastian Bourdais on pit road. Final stop of the day.
They're going to do a splash and go. This is the gamble.
It's going to be fuel only. Do not jack the car up. Have the starter ready.
Do not jack the car up.
No tire change.
Starter ready in case he kills it. Okay, where's Wilson? Here comes Wilson.
Around the Peraltada.
Okay, Bourdais has gone down. He's almost at the end of the pit lane. Here comes Wilson.
Wilson on the front stretch trying to take the lead back.
Yes, he takes it.
Wilson blows by Bourdais at the exit of pit road. So Justin Wilson back in front. 9 laps to go at Mexico City.
And now it is a straight fight, but Wilson has the newer, better tires. Jan?
Well, consider the fact that was a 5-second pit stop, and Sebastian Bourdais does have warm tires. Think back to what happened in Montreal. The trick was to not change tires, because if the track is drying, they wear more. When you wear out a rain tire, it becomes more like a slick. So now not only is it a battle of pit stops, but one has 2 stint tires, one has 1. Which one will be faster on a drying racetrack?
I go for Wilson.
I'll tell you, though, it is starting to dry out here on the front side. We can now see a groove on the main straightaway right in front of our booth location as we watch Justin Wilson on the backside work the S's where it is dry. On the front stretch, there's dry racetrack now as well. So that could play to Bourdais' favor.
I'll be shocked if Sebastian Bourdais can reel him in. On the last lap, right before Bourdais made his pit stop, Wilson was 1.4 seconds a lap faster on the fresher tires. Now the fuel loads are about the same in the cars. The only difference is the tire. There's Bourdais, top of your picture.
That's the gap between first and second. There'll be 8 laps to go next time by. Andrew Ranger making his final stop of the afternoon for the MyJack Conquest Walmart team. Here's your race leader, the CDW9 of Justin Wilson. Final corner to the front straightaway. One more look at Bourdais' stop. Just a splash of fuel.
This was as good as you get.
Little wing adjustment there.
Mechanics are behind the wing in case he stalled it. Helps him out, push him, push him. Oh, Wilson sees him right side just as he passes the end of the pit wall.
Wilson there and Ranger side by side at the end of turn 1. And there's Bourdais. You can see him top of your screen. That's the gap between first and second. Less than 8 laps to go. 4.5 seconds the lead for Wilson.
Oh, this is good stuff here. Now, Bourdais had really settled into a great rhythm right before that pit stop.
Now, Andrew Ranger has just stopped, so he's got fresh rubber. I think Bourdais may have a problem just getting around Ranger to get to Wilson.
Surely he'll let him pass. He will not hold up the leader. I don't believe he will. He'll get blue flagged to move over just in case he does.
On board Ranger in that tied Walmart machine for the MyJack Conquest squad. And here's your race leader, Wilson, in the CDW9. 4.5 seconds, Wilson's lead. He claimed the lead a lap ago as Bourdais went to pit road for a quick splash of fuel, kept the same rain tires on.
Oh, look
Conditions
at that.
are drying now.
Where's Bourdais? Look how far behind he is when you go on board. Our Andrew Ranger onboard camera looking backwards. You can see Bourdais there, but boy, when you look on the camera, it's a long way.
Oriol Servia from 7th makes his final stop for a splash of fuel. They exit the bus stop, hit that Peraltada 180-degree right-hand sweeper as we ride with Ranger here.
And there's that pop-off valve, bottom of your screen. Since 1979, it has been on these Champ Car engines and no more as of next year. There's Bourdais right there. 2.7 seconds. He is closing in on Wilson.
7 laps to go here in Mexico City in the 2006 Champ Car World Series season.
Yikes. Wilson has a lot of push, a lot of understeer.
It's drying out quickly here, and all these cars have rain tires.
How sore is the wrist? How much has he used his left hand and left arm? Rumor was that he began to get a cramp because he used it so much in the dry.
Yeah, last lap Bourdais had a 1.8 second advantage on Wilson. Ran a 1:37.18 on the wet weather tires.
Well, Bourdais made the call. He said, no, the tires are good enough. Don't change it. They said, okay, a splash of fuel. That is what this race may come down to. I would say if you're in Bourdais' pit, you're feeling pretty good right now. Now look how much closer he is to Ranger.
Laps are winding down. There will be 6 to go next time by as they work the S's on the backside. Final race of the 06 season. Point championship decided. Wilson needs to finish 7th or better, and it looks like that will happen to claim 2nd in the championship. Allmendinger not here. And that was important to the Rousport team coming in this weekend.
See what he just told him. And you mentioned earlier he had almost 2 minutes of Cosworth power to pass left. You know he's going to use it right now to at least get by Andrew Ranger. Jan?
Down here with Craig Hampson, who of course had to make that call. You decided to go with tires that had miles. Are they faster in these conditions?
Well, we talked to Sebastian about it, and we said, all right, they got to do 11 more laps. Will they last? The pit stop's quicker, not changing the tires, but being on used tires is a little slower. So it's just a trade-off. I thought maybe we could stand a shot getting in front of Justin, but we just didn't manage to get close enough.
What about the case when the track dries on 2 stint tires? Might they be faster like some people were in Montreal?
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible. I think things are probably as they're going to finish at this point, because catching them is one thing, but getting by them's another. So Justin's just done a heck of a job today. I'm impressed. Broken hand and all, man. He's been fast. They've done a good job.
Congratulations on a great season.
Yeah, McDonald's team really proud of everything we've accomplished. We'll see you next year.
Here's the telltale. Last lap, Wilson 38.08. Bourdais 38.05. 0.03 of a second difference with only 6 laps to go.
Well, the gap has tightened. You've got Ranger between the 1st and 2nd place cars here in the Walmart machine. Ranger 8, the lap down to the race leader. Servia in front of him in 7th, but it doesn't look as though there's enough time now. Wilson may have been taking it easy, and then he got word that Bourdais was closing down on it.
I don't think so, but Bourdais has not caught Ranger as fast as I anticipated he would. He's all over him right now. But here's the problem. That's a first gear chicane. Look, he accelerates. Oh, he's got him. Ranger pulls aside. So I think Ranger was told to pull aside.
Bourdais moves around the 27 car.
5 laps to go in the fight.
Wilson and Bourdais not quite nose to tail. Bourdais over start finish, 61 on the board, 2.2 seconds the gap. How about that? 2:04 at the end of the front stretch.
Oh, Bourdais just did a 37.8, which is half a second faster than Justin Wilson. It's a dogfight right now. It is a straight fight. The decks are cleared, boys. Go at it.
And that was in a situation where he had to get by Ranger. Ranger might have held him up a little bit.
This could be interesting here. Go at it, boys. Is Wilson with a damaged right arm strong enough to hold off the advances of a 3-times champion here?
Ryan Briscoe makes his final stop of the day as we ride with Wilson.
A screw inserted in the wrist, in the scaphoid bone to bolt him back together. They brought Adam Carroll from Ireland to run here just in case Wilson was not strong enough. Carroll drove here on Thursday literally to get him up to speed, and I think Bourdais is even closer now as they go through the S's.
There'll be 4 laps to go next time by. Teams watching, some of the crew members for the CDW team and the McDonald's team watching from the timing stands there as we watch Wilson in that Rousport car number 9. Oh, Bourdais right with him now.
What a way to finish the season here. Now, can he use the Cosworth power to pass to his advantage here? This is where Wilson has been good, off this hairpin or the chicane and through the Peraltada. Oh, this is close. End of the season close.
4 laps to go as the leader comes by.
Clear ahead. 4 more laps. So it takes.
And the gap down to less than a second. Bourdais took 1.3 seconds out of the lead the last lap.
That's a huge chunk. That is big. Bourdais is particularly good in the brake zone, it appears.
Craig Hampson not showing us all of his cards, obviously, a moment ago as he chatted with Jan Beekes.
I am so surprised that Bourdais' tires are as good as they are. What a call it appears to be by Bourdais to certainly put him in a position to maybe make a challenge here.
Wilson with an eye on the mirrors. There'll be 3 to go next time by. Wilson hoping for a back-to-back win here at Mexico City. Bourdais would like to be 7 for 14. He would like to claim victories in literally half of the Champ Car World Series schedule this season. And a come-from-behind drive, and he's right there.
So how much push to pass? Wilson has 47 seconds. Is that enough?
Bourdais has 29 seconds. He's burned a lot of his. So Wilson can play defense. He can be on the button here the last several laps on the front straightaway.
Jeremy Dale, the president of Roo Sports, watches. A lot of people from...
29 seconds, 29 seconds.
Now remember, under these circumstances, Bourdais right there. Bourdais right on the back wing of Wilson's car.
He's trying to get the run out of the
hairpin. On the outside now, side by side into the Peloton.
Now you can use the push to pass. They're side by side still.
To the front straightaway for the lead. Bourdais wants the win.
Oh, Wilson's trying to hang on.
Oh, Bourdais gets out of the loose stuff and almost loses it.
Pass, great job there.
Man.
Looked like Bourdais was on the high side at Eldora there for a moment out in the wet stuff. Jeremy Dale looking on from the Roo Sport timing stand.
Bourdais was slow, Wilson was slow through the chicane, Jan.
I'm just speculating. The place that Wilson had the most trouble muscling the car when he started to lose strength in his wrist was at the chicane.
Yes.
So that may not have been track conditions. I wonder here in the waning laps if he just physically is having a hard time getting it through there.
It's exactly the question we asked him at the top of the show. He says, I don't know. I don't know if my right wrist will be strong enough towards the end of this race. He is in a fight right now.
Riding with Justin Wilson, Bourdais the champion right there. Wilson with 1 win this year, Bourdais with 6. Wilson the winner here a year ago, defending his position. These two started on the front row. Wilson the pole sitter.
Bourdais knows now that he cannot ride round the cushion on the outside of the Peraltada. He's got to come up with a different strategy. He has to be close enough to Wilson to at least get a draft down this long straight if he's going to make an attempt to pass.
2 laps to go next time by. They're on the backside here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez.
Cushion.
That's an Australian term, isn't it?
Oh, here it is again. Oh, Wilson's good. Good this time. Much better this time.
He knows there's heavy pressure on him. He doesn't allow Bourdais to get alongside this time. They'll get the 2 to go from J.D. Wilbur this time by.
That was a great shot through that chicane by Justin Wilson.
15 seconds. He's not using it. 2 to go.
Bourdais not using it because
they're both on the button. No, they're both on the button. We have the telemetry. They are both on the button. Wilson played defense and got on the power to pass button.
Oh, Paul Newman is here. He did make the trip. He is watching his team. Sébastien Bourdais, his driver.
Bourdais unable to chop into the lead last time by start finish. 3/4 of a second the gap for Wilson.
Still has 3 seconds. He has 1 more shot.
Who has?
Bourdais has 1 more squeeze of the button. Now he gets a full front straightaway burst, even though the clock shows 3 seconds.
How much does Wilson have?
19.
Okay.
So he can use it a couple of times here.
He can match him.
It looks as though Bourdais would not have some on the last lap.
There's his dad, Patrick Bourdais, right there, still races himself in France. Made the trip to see his son, and he's enjoying this.
White flag this time by the leaders right there. Justin Wilson, Sébastien Bourdais, nose to tail on the backside through the S's.
And Bourdais knows he can't pass him through the S's. Now, as you come off the last left-hander right here, oh, Wilson stretches it, which means Bourdais cannot outbrake him down the inside to the chicane. Here's the chicane. Just do what you did last time.
He's got to be flawless off the corner.
He was. Bourdais is closer, though. He's closer.
White flag this time by Wilson by 3 car lengths over Bourdais.
Hit the juice.
Need to use it here. Last lap. But
Wilson's on the button. Bourdais is going to sell, and Bourdais jumps on the power to pass button as well. Wilson plays defense. He's watching the mirror. You can see his eyes.
2 of the best here going at it.
Last time around this 2.77 mile circuit.
Key brake zone. There's the McDonald's team versus CDW. This is as good as it gets at the end of the season for the last race. Last lap, last race for Alola.
Wilson by a car length. Here comes Bourdais. He's going to try the inside. Wilson defends. Bourdais has room.
Risky move at the S's.
Wilson makes his car wide. Bourdais on the inside. Oh, there's contact. Oh, pieces go flying. Bourdais clipped Wilson and took part of his wing off.
You got to finish this thing. You still have one more application.
Bourdais clipped Wilson to get the lead. Oh, there was contact. Bourdais got into Wilson, trying to bonsai him on the inside of the corner.
Yes, he did. Down the inside, got it sideways in a slide. Looked like a bit of a Paul Tracy type move. And Bourdais keeps it straight, and he looks like he will be the winner.
Now the question is, will there be any review of the pass? Because there was definitely contact and parts flew.
Wilson's in trouble.
Wilson locks up the brakes, goes through the bus stop. Bourdais will scoot home. J.D. Wilmer and Jim Swinton with the checkered flags in hand on the front straightaway to close out the 2006 Champ Car World Series season. Sebastian Bourdais will be first under the checkered flag in Mexico City.
Wow. What a race. What a move. What a champion.
No indication from Champ Car Race Control that they're reviewing the pass by Bourdais. It appears that Bourdais has won his 7th race of the season. A last lap pass of Justin Wilson. When there was contact, parts flew after the contact. And Wilson,
not impressed.
Not impressed.
I don't think that was malicious. I do not believe that was malicious.
So Justin Wilson led a ton of laps here today in 2 different stints, but gives up the lead on the final couple of turns to the champion, Sebastian Bourdais, who closes out 2006 with his 7th win.
Here it is again. He made it, tried it earlier on. Ooh! As he goes down the inside, he locks up the rear brakes. He realizes he puts his front over the curbing. And then his dad on the left side of your picture, Patrick Bourdais, and the rest of his crew realize, I think we might have won this thing.
A three-wall bank shot by Sebastian Bourdais to take the lead away from Justin Wilson on the final lap of the season.
And that's the most smoke I've seen from Donuts this year because of the wet weather soft compound tires. What a race.
Well, Derek, what do you think? Was that a legitimate pass for the win?
Yes.
Even with the contact?
Yes.
Sebastian Bourdais wins his 7th of the season in the McDonald's car number 1. All right, a lot of stories to wrap up in 2006, and we will be back to do that for you in just a moment here in Mexico City. Welcome back. Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. The season finale, Grand Prix of Mexico City complete. The confetti in victory lane for now 7-time winner and 3 consecutive championships for Sebastian Bourdais, who bonsaied his way by Justin Wilson with just a couple of turns left in the season. Bourdais, with contact with Wilson, over the curb and gets to victory lane. Runner-up today, Justin Wilson, down to Cameron Steele.
Well, I've caught up with Craig Hampson. Very happy. Quite a gamble there at the end. I mean, are you surprised it paid off?
Well, I mean, we thought that the used tires, you know, not changing tires was the right thing to do, or else we wouldn't have done it like that. But honestly, I think Justin was just struggling at the end there. I'm sure his hand was just killing him, and he was making some mistakes. He was kind of off the pace. I feel a little bad there was some contact, but I'm thrilled for Sebastian. He did such a great job in the rain. I mean, statistically, that's the best year the McDonald's team has ever had. It's the most points that we've scored. We tied the number of wins we had in 2004. I'm thrilled. It was great. It was really good.
Congratulations on a magnificent season, Craig.
Thank you very much.
The thoughts of Craig Hampson, team leader for the McDonald's car, and champion Sebastian Bourdais. Huge throng of fans. Bourdais got a standing ovation as he brought that one car to a halt here on the front straightaway.
And there's no doubt that race had the wow factor, but let's not forget, Will Power, Team Australia, are about to get onto the podium also. Will Power's first ever podium, and what an awesome job they have done, particularly on the second half of this year, particularly with that driver.
We saw Power frighten us and everyone else at Edmonton when he had that huge wreck before the race, when he went skating through the grass and walloped a jersey barrier a ton. That could have really cost him a lot of momentum, but he bounced back nicely. Cameron Steele.
Well, I've caught up with Justin Wilson now, and now taking a look, he's got the ice pack on the hand and the brace. And how much pain are you in right now, Justin?
Can't feel anything right now. The adrenaline's taken over, but you know, it was one hell of a race. We're just hanging on for that last 10, 12 laps, you know, with, you know, wearing out the Bridgestone wets on this dry condition. So I knew it's going to be tough, but you know, it's how it happens. You know, just couldn't hang on that last half a lap.
Take us through the pass. Were you surprised to see Sebastian dive inside, and how much contact was there?
There's quite a bit. It hit the steering wheel, and you know, I wasn't surprised, but you know, I didn't think it was completely on. But you know, I'll give it to him. He managed to make it happen. So you know, we'll go on from here, and we'll make it happen next year.
Did it add any pain to the wrist there, that contact at the end?
A little bit, yeah. It definitely rattled the steering wheel, which wasn't good, but I got a few months now to recover.
Congratulations, Justin, a great year, and Ironmanning it here at Mexico City. Let's go over to Jan Beekes.
And with Sebastian Bourdais getting the congratulations from the crew. And owner, Paul Newman just asked him about a baby. You're expecting a child, but let's talk about the race, those last 2 laps. Unbelievable.
Well, first I want to say hi to Claire. She stayed home, and I hope she didn't stress out too much, but I'll be back tomorrow, and I hope everything's well.
Tell me about the pass on Justin Wilson on the final lap.
Well, that was a tough deal. You know, I really felt that we could win the race, but I didn't want to take him out because, you know, take any chance to take him out because he had everything to lose, and you know, it was just one heck of a deal at the end. I got a good run, you know, went around the outside, and when we arrived at turn 6, I said, you know, I can slide the car side by side, which I had like 3/4 of the car, and he didn't open the line, and you know, I had to use the curb, the bounce. We touched a little bit, but I was kind of pretty sure that wheel to side pod should be all right. So, you know, it was just a crazy race. I made up for a big mistake I made trying to catch him earlier in the race, and very, very happy for the Magnulis crew. It just, I mean, you know, it just highlights everything we've done this year, and a great win again.
You have won a lot of races. Does this go to the top of the list as far as what you've been able to do behind the wheel?
Well, it's just at the beginning, you know, I felt the car was really strong, and all of a sudden we lost the rear Bridgestone tires, and it's too bad because I really felt, you know, we had everything under control, but I didn't resist Justin. I knew we had the better car at that time, and I said, you know, we'll see what happens later in the race. Then when it started raining, it was kind of equal. I was catching him a little bit, but trying really hard, spun the car, and the rest, you know it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, Bourdais surprises us, I think, Derek Daly. It didn't look as though he had much of a shot there with a couple of laps to go, but driving nicely through the wet, he gets his 7th win of the year. We take you back, show you some of his triumphs this year. He opened the year with 4 in a row, beginning at Long Beach when he was the dominant force. Came from behind on the streets of Houston around Reliant Stadium at night. Of course, had that win at Monterrey, Mexico back in the month of May. And then at the Milwaukee Mile, came from behind there and won his first ever oval track victory. Also a winner this year at San Jose. And then was the dominant player on Monday in Montreal. Came back and won the championship, of course, at Surfers Paradise with an 8th place finish. Caps off a great season, his 7th win in 14 starts. Bourdais the winner here in Mexico City. Bourdais defeats Wilson and Power, Junqueira and Tagliani, the rest of the top 5. Servia gets credit for 6th. In front of Philippe. Those are the cars on the lead lap that it's Ranger. David Martinez and Buddy Rice run 9th and 10th for the Forsyth Championship Racing Squad. We'll be back with more from the Champ Car Grand Prix at Mexico City in just a moment. Back in Mexico City as Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. Season finale complete here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Sebastian Bourdais, a last lap pass for the victory. The annual Greg Moore Legacy Award is one way Champ Car pays homage to its past. The well-loved Canadian who lost his life back in '99. 4 nominees for that honor this year: Alex Tagliani, Justin Wilson, Nelson Philippe, and James Hinchcliffe. And you can help vote for this year's Greg Moore Legacy Award winner at the website champcar.ws. Cameron.
Well, I've caught up with Will Power, the new Rookie of the Year. He's with team owner Derek Walker. And Will, what a great season and a great way to finish it with your first podium.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's a full credit to the team. We've just got stronger and stronger as the years gone on, and to finish up winning the Rookie of the Year here and also getting a podium is just excellent. Thanks, man.
Speedy Dan coming up to congratulate him. That's who he beat for the Rookie of the Year. And I want to ask you about this track. Did it go away quite a bit with the water, and then was it tough to stay out on the wet tires?
Well, yeah, at the end there it was pretty much a dry track, and the wet tires got a little bit mushy, but it was all, I mean, it would have been, you would have lost too much time coming and getting slick, so we did a really good strategy.
Yeah, great job by Will Power. Derek Walker, I just want to ask you, is he coming back with you guys next year? Not to put you on the spot.
No, you put me on the spot. I guess we'll have to have him back, but I got to say, my partner, Craig Gore, isn't here today, but I'm sure he's watching, so thanks, Craig. Thanks for everything.
There you have it. Will Power coming back with Team Australia. Send it back upstairs.
And we look forward to seeing Power's development continue in Champ Car come 2007. Huge crowd remaining here to enjoy the post-race festivities. It's been a wonderful Champ Car World Series season. We'll be back to cap it off for you in Mexico City. As we welcome you back, Victory Lane ceremony is ongoing here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez with Derek Daly, Iberic Benjamin. Sebastian Bourdais sprays the champagne for the 7th time in 2006. Last lap pass of Justin Wilson, who was hanging